Okay, we're ready to go over batch upload for supply and demand tab. And again, if you're a single water system, a one water system or a single urban water system, you're only going to have one system to report to. But if you have multiple water systems that you're reporting to in an aggregated report, you can also utilize the batch upload. So let's go over here to download template. And we're going to download the supply and demand batch upload template. Now, the first thing you're going to see is the definition, similar to source reporting. Every single side tab has a list of questions and it has a list of definitions and whether that question is required or not to be filled out, or whether it's has a star because it's preliminary, like it's conditionally required. It's required based on if you said you meter, then your demand is required. So that's what this star yes means. Let's see, most of them are required. We don't like to include a lot of stuff that's not required. Like, comments and stuff. Those are the only things that are not required. If it's really not required, we'd rather remove it from the report altogether. So first we go to the About tab. The About tab asks very simple questions. The two same questions that are in the UI. Does your system supply or deliver non-potable water to customers or other water systems? And recycle water to other customers or other water systems. So I'm going to put yes for both, but you're going to see where that is going to come into play. So under potable supply and same in About tab, you have a first three fields that should not be changed. These columns, don't touch them because they will break. And that identifies a water system ID and the start date and end date for the reporting period that we're going to put this data into. And if you have multiple water systems for an aggregated report, you're going to see a line for each water system here. So it lets you report multiple systems in one. For the potable supply, we don't have a lot of data to enter. This all comes from source reporting. So all I'm asking here is, was it a preliminary estimate? Let's put no and yes. Was I reliant on bottled water? No. Done with potable supply comments. Now I'm going to move over to potable demand. Same three columns not to touch. Select the appropriate unit of measure here because it's potable demand. I can enter these fields in the units that I want. So let's just do acre feet. Again, typing it exactly how it's listed above. If I have anything different, it will not read it and it'll throw an error, and it may not accept your file at all and give you a random error too. But potable demand comments, this is an optional field, but you can add that. So let's just add that little test comment. Do you meter the volume of potable water delivered to your individual customers? You either meter it or you don't. If you put no, then we're going to ask that you leave the rest of the fields blank because you don't have this information. We're going to leave it completely blank. Now, there is one, even if you don't meter, we still ask for the total potable demand, but we couldn't support it in the batch upload. So what's going to happen is if you put no, when you upload this, it's still not going to complete your potable demand tab because you have to enter an estimate for your total potable demand. So it's going to have a new field that doesn't exist right now. It's an optional, it's a hide and show field. It only shows if you don't meter. And we couldn't support it in this document here because it's a very simple doc. We don't want to complicate this anymore. So if it's yes, then potable residential single family demand, I can put a value. That's going to be an acre feet now, since I put acre feet for all of this. Let's say it's not a preliminary estimate. I put single family demand. I put residential multifamily demand for all residential multifamilies in my area. Commercial and institutional demand. Potable metered irrigation of CII landscape demand for dedicated irrigation meters. That's where I put that. Industrial demand. Here's agricultural demand. Kind of see it laid out here. And potable non-residential other demand. It's where we put stuff like process flows and hydrant flushing and things like that. Let's say it's not a preliminary estimate. Volume sold and delivered to other water systems. Okay, this is really key. If you sold to another water system, it's going to be 50 acre feet, and it's going to be sold to a water system. You have to actually enter, it's not a water system. We have to actually enter a water system or two. And I'm going to try to put it exactly how it says it above. And I messed it up. Okay, so I put 2 water systems that I'm sending this water to. It's not per water system, so it's not building a table of any sort. It's all kind of contained in the same one. But this allows me to show multiple water systems if I'm selling to multiple water systems, and I get to put this in the batch upload. And finally, if that potable water delivered is a preliminary estimate, I'm going to put no. Okay. Non-potable supply. So here's where this question shows up again, because the batch upload doesn't know what you answered in About tab. About tab just fills out the About one, but it really needs to match, absolutely needs to be matched what you have here. So if you supply non-potable or recycle water to customers or other water systems, new question. When we went to the About tab, it was, do you supply or deliver non-potable water? And then recycle water is 2 separate questions. This is one question that tells me whether this information should be required or not. So if you supplied it and you put yes, then you'll be filling out everything after here. So let's just put this across the board. I'm going to put here in gallons this time. Yeah, I can use different units for different tabs, which is kind of nice. And then I'm going to put, this is how much recycled water self-produced, non-potable water produced, recycled water obtained, preliminary estimate, I'll mark that as no. Obtained from, you're going to need to have the recycled water system number. This is not common. But I happen to know that this is a water system that is a recycled water system. And those are 2. So I just said that I am obtaining 50 gallons of recycled water from these 2 water systems. Listed here, separated by a semicolon. I put a space in there just in case. Other non-potable water obtained, I can put that here. If you're obtaining water from another water system, like let's say it's some type of potable water that's being supplementing your non-potable water system, that's where we would intend to have a public water system listed here. I cannot, unfortunately, put water systems. Actually, no, I put a wrong system number. To put a water system here that's not a water system, they're a wholesaler, they may not have a water system number. So I'm not able to put someone in there unless they are a water system. So if you know their water system and you're receiving water from them for use for non-potable use, like for irrigation or for other uses such as that, then that's where I would put that in. And again, separating it by a semicolon. Okay. I'm going to put no for preliminary estimate, and I'm going to say done here. Last one for the demand section is the non-potable demand. I'm going to put yes. I have to match what I put in non-potable supply and About tab. Yes, I do deliver it. Select the units of measure in gallons. Test comments. Do you meter the volume of non-potable water? Yes. Let's see, did I answer that? Do you deliver? Oh, this is asking if you meter. So if you don't meter, you would just be asked the total number and not the individual numbers. But if I said that I meter, I will have to provide how much. So let's put that in there, 50, 50 for here for non-potable demand. Residential demand, I'll enter no here. Non-residential recycled. Meter non-residential, preliminary estimate of no. Very similar to what I'm doing elsewhere. Volume sold or delivered to other water systems. Here I have water that's being sold to another water system. That's recycled water with a semicolon in between. So very similar to the other one. Okay, I have 2 water systems there, and then preliminary estimate of no. And finally, my report summary, which is just this comment here, this comment here, and then estimated potable water loss, if I want to provide that. Well, I'm asked to provide it, so I can just put a number that makes sense to me. A comment here for the comments field. A non-potable water loss, again, has that question if you have non-potable water. So if you don't, it's not going to be necessary. And then non-potable water loss comments here. And finally, the maximum day demand in gallons and our maximum day demand date, which must be within the reporting period. Let's say if it was an estimate, I'd put it at the end of the month in 31, and then my comments. Okay, I know we're past time. If you're wanting to stay around and ask questions, you can. But I'm going to keep going so I could finish this recording. So now we'll head over to the clearinghouse, go to batch upload. Supply and demand shows up. Let me upload my supply and demand batch template. Continue. Every tab shows me what I have entered for these fields. Everything properly mapped over, no errors are showing. I can review my data. I can make sure my columns are matching. And then I continue to data validation. This may take a couple seconds, maybe even a minute or two, depending on how much data that you have. But this is definitely a lot less data than what we have for source reporting. So hopefully it's a little bit faster. Okay, no errors are showing. If I did have an error showing, I would be able to download an error report and it would highlight what fields are having an issue. So you can see if there's any dashes or non-standard characters or anything weird in that field it's not expecting. Then I go to complete data load and I can complete my file upload right here. All right, success. Data has been saved. And now the moment of truth. Here's the supply and demand tab right here. And now it's yellow. I have a green about tab. I have a yellow potable supply and green everything else. I'm going to click on potable supply. And the reason why this is yellow is because we marked yes for preliminary estimate for this tab. And it's showing right here. This is the reason why it's yellow. It allows you to identify which ones are preliminary so you can come back in and fix it. See, this one's here is yes, and this one is yes.